New year, a new set of resolutions, and the fact is, only 9% of you will actually realise them. Scary? It should be. There is a war on your time, my friends. So how do you make sure you put your energy in the right place and make your goals stick and happen? This is the best solution I've found. Hello, my friends, it's Simon, and it turns out, as the year starts, proper goal setting and yearly planning is the single best way that you can improve your life. If you do it right. And there lies the problem, my friends. Most of us have no idea where to start or how to do goal setting in a meaningful way. Well, no worries. In this video, I'll not only share what I think is a proven and carefully honed goal setting and planning process, but I'll walk you through my new prompted goal setting and yearly planner template in Notion as we go, which you can also download via the description, so you can join in too. Now, I finally committed to doing this a few years ago. I deep dived into the best approaches to goal setting and planning, and the results have been remarkable. It's 10x'd my income, changed how I live, and really helped me dream bigger about what's possible in the future. Now, there's even a PDF paper copy of this yearly planning system as a worksheet if you want to keep things old school. But first, if you are watching as this comes out, hello, Happy New Year, and thank you for the amazing support on the channel over the year. We flew past 100,000 subscribers in 2023, and the Notion Life OS community is thriving as well. It's been a few months since I focused on personal productivity and Notion on the channel, so I decided that this month is going to be the Make a Plan in Jan month on the Better Creating channel. I'm going to release new Notion templates, a series of videos on how to get organised with Notion or without it, the release of my new simplified Notion second brain template, tips on building great habits, making better decisions, journaling practice. So make sure you're subscribed and signed up to the mailing list so you don't miss it. So the first stage of the process is to set up a life organisation and visualisation tool. It's a really simple and powerful thing that I'm loving at the moment, and it's called the Wheel of Life. This is a list of life areas that I've created. You could do this on paper, as I say, and we have a radar graph. Now, why would you use a radar graph, and why would you list your life areas? I've listed areas of life, and I've given myself a kind of satisfaction rating for each for the year. And you can see things that are closer to the center are perhaps the things that you might want to spend more time focusing on. So what happens if I change my physical health and fitness to 10, and then we refresh the graph, you can see that it has updated and moved the graph, and I can visualize what it looks like. Pretty cool. Now, if you want to do this in Notion, when you download this template, this won't actually be there because you have to set your own up. So what I would suggest you do is you go to ChartBase. Now, I've got a pro account, that's about $4 a month, so it means I can do unlimited charts, but you can make a chart for free using this forever, and I really recommend it for creating a wheel of life. If you want an alternative free option, do also check out Rows. So in ChartBase, it's really simple. I would create a new chart, select radar chart, you make sure that you've linked to your Notion account, which you would do when you sign up, and you find your wheel of life, or you click on the database. I'm going to make the axis life areas. I'm going to make this 1 to 10, create the chart, and there you go. Pretty simple. You just click embed link, copy the link, jump back to your page, and I would simply just Control V and press create embed, and it will drop it in. In terms of life areas, I think it's really worth thinking about your health, these first two, friends and relationships, family. You might want to think about hobbies and relaxation, finances. I've got personal growth, business career, all of that kind of thing. And I really like this one, physical environment and things. You know, you can rate the world that you've got around you. It makes a big impact on your life. So that's stage one. Okay, the next stage is meaty, and it's the most important, the yearly reflection, where we look back at the past year and then dream about what the next one should be. Now, this can be as detailed or as brief as you like, as long as you look back and critically reflect. But there's a bunch of really great prompts, some of my favorite sequences of prompts and ways to really make this a deeper and more meaningful process. And it's this button here where all the magic is stored. Within this, if you're interested and you're a Notion user, there is a copy of a yearly reflection journal entry, and it will essentially just generate one of those. And when you're done with it, you can drop it into the year that it relates to. Here is a year. You would just click and use a new year template, or just click new. You don't need to do it for this year. And this is what that is. It's simply something that shows the related goals, and it will also show any related events that you've planned out. So we're going to click on this. There it is. I'm going to click into it, and this is where we do it. I'm going to do this on 2023. So there's two chunks to this. There's a review of my calendar and some exercises that go with it, and then some journaling prompts. So we're going to go to the first one. What was your last year about? Now, I really love this because it allows you to go right through your calendar and find any important events or projects that have jumped out. And you can just list them in here by adding them. So what I would do is I would go to my calendar and I would just work through and see what's happened. So I started coaching with a coach. So I'm going to go back to here, add a new one, and go. I'm just going to list them in. Now, you don't have to list life areas here, but if you wanted to, you could do that. And I've set up some that are exactly the same as the Wheel of Life. And I've also listed my Wheel of Life here as kind of inspiration for what those might be. The idea being, if you wanted to, you could actually just filter here by, let's say, business and career, and you could just add new ones, and it would just, you could go everything through your business and career and then go to the next one. Now, stage 2 in this process would be to look at the same significant events database. So everything that was in there, I would label as win or loss, and I would write a lesson. The process of this is really about thinking about what you can learn from what you did. With our example of coaching for my business with Fiona, I'm going to put that as a win. I'm going to link it into business, and I'm going to write what lesson I learned from it. That's my lesson. Seriously, doing some life coaching or some business coaching has got to be the biggest return on investment against what I do, and I in future need to not worry about it feeling expensive, because it definitely returns. So I would work through like that in stage 1. Then the next stage is actually to filter by win and add new things which might have come up that are other wins. Might be something like that, and that will go into friends and family, and then you can, there you go, I put my wins in. And you can also notice, did you focus more on wins or losses? Then the next stage would be to filter by losses and add any losses. Now, I know it seems negative to think through what your losses were for a year, but it's really, really worthwhile, the things that were negative, because you learn most from those, I think. So there you go. You have listed all the significant events from your calendar and thought about others. You have identified which of them are wins and losses, put them into a life area, but also reflected on the lessons learned. The next stage is my favorite. I will now see everything that I've put in, and there are two views, the best 20% and the worst 20% of events. Now, this is based on the 80-20 rule. You may have heard of it. I absolutely love it. And it's asking us to identify what are the 20% of actions that had the biggest impact on your life. So we can focus more on those, and the 80% we let go. And what are the 20% of negative or detrimental actions on your life that you need to do less of? So I click on this one first, which is the best 20% wins. It will show me all my wins, and I'm going to go through and just decide that was a really good one. And then you do the same for the losses. I've only got one, but there you go. You get the idea. That is the recap process, your calendar. So by this point, you should have a really strong sense of what your last year was like, the big events, what was good, what was bad, and the lessons you've learned. Now it's time to do a little bit of writing, and you could do this on paper if you wanted, but these are some journaling prompts that I think can really go a long way. The first one is unfinished sentences about the past year. This is one of my favorite ways to work. I recommend setting yourself a timer and then trying to complete the answers, and you could be multiple answers, as quickly as you can through the process. So I'm going to do that quickly now. Woo, great, and we would do this for each one. Number 2 is key questions for the past year. So that includes a number of different prompts. Think about your major milestones. What were the most significant achievements, and how did they affect your life? You might want to look at the challenges that you overcame. What were the biggest challenges or obstacles? Personal growth and development. Have you grown or changed as a person in the past year? Did it change your attitude or behaviours? self-care and well-being? How did you take care of your physical and emotional health? What were the bigger relationships that you had? How have they evolved? What was important? How did you advance your career and studies? And I like the last two as well. One on gratitude. What are you most grateful for? The people, experiences, opportunities. Think about that. And forgiveness. Did anything happen in the last year that still needs to be forgiven? Are there deeds or words that made you feel bad or things that make you feel angry? Now, if you don't feel ready to forgive, for whatever reason, it's worth writing it anyway, because trust me, getting stuff onto paper will work wonders. And then finally, we have say goodbye to the last year. Write the 3 words that define your last year. And if there's anything else you want to say, write it in there. The second part of this yearly reflection template is to look at the coming year. And you'll see it kind of echoes what happened before, some prompts, what the year will be about. And what we now see is revealed the priorities for this year. So based on what we've learned from looking back, we can now look again at the wheel of life and highlight 3 areas that we want to focus more energy on. Now, it might be the ones that have not had a lot of attention. So for me, it's about making time for fun. So I'm going to click that and it moves it to the top. I also think I want to focus more on my personal self-knowledge and mental health. That's important to me. But I'm actually going to focus a lot of my energy on organizing my business. I think that's going to be really important for me. So then I'm going to go down, and under this, we have another set of prompts like the first set. What does the year ahead look like? Set yourself a timer again and try completing the sentences in multiple ways. So I would go through, and these prompts are things like, this year I will be energized by, this year I will not procrastinate anymore over, this will be the year of, I quite like doing that. And this is a good one, my secret wish for this year is. So if you didn't tell anyone, what would it be? We can close that up, and then you can go to find your purpose. Now, this is a really important stage, I think. These are some journaling prompts collected from various different places. They help you, I think, dream bigger and visualize what your life might be like. They're things like, what would you like to do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you like to do even if you knew you'd fail at it? 2 really interesting directions. I also like this one. Are there any deferred dreams that you've always had but never pursued? Why have you not pursued them? What's stopping you? What could that be? Now, once you've done all that reflecting, this is the big bit that we really want to get right. I discovered this method last year in 2023 and I absolutely love it. It's a great 10-minute exercise, I think, to be a great leap-off point to then go and set your goals in the rest of the system. So I've made this kind of Notion dream setting table, and it's based on a combination of ideas that I've learned through watching or reading Ali Abdaal's content and a few methods from like those older self-development authors like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, good people. So what you do is, step 1, you're going to set a timer for 10 minutes and make a list of everything you might want as a goal or a dream over the next 10 years. I've got some prompts and it's worth using these. I want to learn what? I want to have what? I want to be what? And to make it easy, if you wanted just to focus on what you want to learn, we can add a little filter of the prompt, and you can just filter by the prompt, and then every new entry will be started with that. Pretty good. So there are a quick set of examples that I've created in the system, and then you can move on to stage 2, which is setting a time frame for each of them. So this list would obviously be much bigger, but you can go through and go, right, I want to have more time to focus on big needle moving projects. Well, I think that's really achievable in a year. Let's do that. I want to be calmer and more focused. I'm going to go 1 year. You list those in, and then finally, once you've done that, you would normally on paper then organize them into lists of goals for those periods, but my system does it. Look at that. So there you go. We've got my 1 year goals, and we've got my 3 year goals, and we've got my 5 year goals. To quote Ali Abdaal in one of his newsletters, the point of setting these goals for the 3 to 10 year time horizon isn't to actually work on all of them right now. He said that the winds of fate are naturally going to change stuff. It's more that we want to know what might happen tomorrow. So these goals set a kind of tone, and they're purely a reflection of the direction that you'd like to be headed towards right now. So that is the reflection. You've completed it all. We then go back to our tracker in my system, and this yearly reflection, what I would probably do now is just take it and drop it into the year I reflected on. There you go. We can now move to our final section, which is to set goals for the year. Stage 3 should be relatively simple. Setting your goals and milestones for the year, in this case, into my Notion setup. Now, I think goals should be scary, but achievable enough that you can believe in them and be inspired to reach them. I also recommend phrasing them as if they've already happened. For example, I have a talented team of collaborators who help me run my digital business, so I get some time back. What I think is really important, even if you're doing it on paper, is to start thinking about the milestones you might want to hit in order to reach the goals that you've set. So there's a 3-step guide to this. We're going to add our goals to the goals database below, and you can do that by clicking new goal. But you also might want to use the dream setting that you did before, and in this system we can drag them in. So I want to be calmer and more focused and able to take time away from work. So I'm going to need to rename it, but what I am going to do is just show you what I mean. I'm going to drop it in, I'm going to open it up, I'm going to turn it into a new goal. Remember, we want to write it like it's already happened. So this will be something like, there you go, right? I've built a team that runs the operation of my channel so that I have 50% of my time back. Interesting. And within that, I can write the obstacles and the solutions, for example. And I'm going to add the goal number as number 3. If I want to add my milestones to each goal, I can simply drop this down and add a new sub-item to that goal and think about what that would be. I'm going to open this up and make sure it's a milestone so it reads correctly. There you go. So I can then set a deadline for that, and I'm going to make that one, I want to do that by the 1st of April. And it's all set up. Look at that. That's how you're going to add your goals. And then what we will have is we go up to the top of the system, we will then have our goals listed in a view here, 1, 2, 3, plus their milestones below them. So you've built your wheel of life, you've completed your yearly reflection, and you've set your goals for the year. What next? Well, this is really important. We need to transfer them to actions. I'd suggest a couple of things which I've put into the template. Maybe create a weekly schedule in your calendar of choice where you can actually time block out your first month, and that would include the kind of key milestones and deadlines. But what you might want to do is also start doing things like setting up a habit tracker or a task and project manager that link back to this goal system. And if you want to do that, I've got a ton of templates that can help you do it. A couple of great examples are this new habit journal and habit tracker that I've been developing. I'm going to be updating this kind of system into my larger template soon. But you know, look, you can track your habits, see how you're doing. You can see reports on each one. More on that on the next video. And I've got a essential Notion task manager. This is completely free. Just sign up to the mailing list via the link below and you can try out my full task and project manager, which will help you manage your projects and get your life in order and link it all back to your goals. Oh, and I almost forgot, my bonus tool in the goals tracker and year planner Notion template is this fear setting. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's one invented by Tim Ferriss. This is a little tool if there's something that you'd love to do but you're really not feeling it. There are 3 steps to it. 1, you name and define what you're afraid of. You then prevent it. You go, what can I do to prevent or minimize the possibility of that fear coming to life? Or if it were to happen, how could I repair it? And then finally, if I were to face this fear, what might be the benefits from an attempt or semi-success? So you're kind of going, well, if I did do it and it was scary, there might be benefits that come from it, right? And then what's the cost of inaction? What would be the cost of staying in my current situation? So I've made a little database that allows you to work through the idea. My example being, you know, I'm afraid a new producer will cut me loose if I try and negotiate a better contract. So check out fear setting via Tim Ferriss's blog, but also it's in the template as a database that you can use. Cool. And so if you want to try out some of my other Notion systems, definitely go and check out bettercreating.com to discover the rest of those Notion organization templates. And of course, thank you in advance for downloading stuff from this video. Okay, my friends, so that's goal setting, but wait a moment. Goals are all very well, but how do we ensure you actually take the right actions in order to reach them? Well, that is the next video on the channel, how you can identify and track the right habits and tasks to get to your goals. You can watch that video here when it's ready, or watch this one for my full tour of my Notion Life OS system, the full second brain setup that has genuinely changed my work and life. All the very best dreaming up your goals and future life. Let me know what you're focusing on for this year in the comments, and I'd better get back to creating. See ya.